They say the war changes a man, but it's what I found after the war that changed me for good. She wasn't no animal, though I thought so at first. Crawling out by my chicken coop, all mud and bone and hair like knotted weeds, I raised my rifle expecting a coyote. What turned toward me weren't any coyote. It was a little girl, no more than 8 or 9, naked, filthy, crouched low with her teeth bared. And when she saw me, she barked, not screamed, not cried, barked, sharp and mean like a mutt defending a carcass. Then she growled, low and deep, eyes locked on mine. That's when I knew something was wrong, deep wrong. I didn't lower my rifle out of fear. I lowered it because I was suddenly ashamed to be holding it. Now, I'd been living alone on that ranch since my wife Martha passed 3 winters back. Quiet, steady life. Wheat, chickens, chores, silence. But that morning, standing there in my boots while that girl scrambled off into the woods like some spooked critter, I felt something break loose inside me. She moved like she'd never walked upright in her life, like no one had ever taught her to be human. I should have gone into town, told Sheriff Dalton, but I didn't. I reckon some part of me knew the moment I saw her. This wasn't a matter for the law. Not yet. I spent the day pacing between fields and the tree line, heart pounding like it used to before raids. I kept asking myself, what kind of monster turns a child into a beast? The next morning, I filled a bowl with leftover stew, poured milk in a tin cup, and left 'em just inside the woods. Sat back 50 feet and waited. Felt stupid, like a man trying to bait a ghost. But after 2 long hours of heat and flies, she crept back, crawling, sniffing, halting, eyes twitching for traps. She didn't use her hands, just bent over and lapped the milk up with her tongue, shoveling stew in her mouth with her face. Her knees were raw, her back was scarred, and around her neck, nearly hidden under all that dirt and hair, was a collar. A real dog collar, leather worn smooth. That collar made my stomach turn. It weren't neglect. It was ownership. I didn't move. Barely breathed. She ate, then scuttled back into the shadows. But before she vanished, she looked at me, just for a heartbeat. Not with fear, with something else, something trying to remember. I kept that routine for 3 days. Food, patience, sitting like a damn scarecrow. And each day, she came a little closer, never stood, never spoke. But on the 3rd day, I saw her dragging her left leg. That cut on her thigh was angry red, swelling like poison ivy on fire. I fetched some whiskey and a clean cloth, sat on that same log, and when she came, I showed her how I cleaned a scrape on my own arm. Winced, real dramatic, hoping she'd get the message. When I offered her the cloth, she sniffed it like a hound. Then, Lord help me, she let me touch her. She whimpered, not like an animal, like a hurt child. That's when I saw what had really been done to her. The collar wasn't just leather. It had metal studs that tore at her skin. Her teeth, some had been filed to points. Her whole body was molded to crawl. Knees, elbows, even the soles of her feet, scarred into submission. I cleaned what I could, my hands shaking the whole time, not from fear, but from rage. I've seen evil in war, but this was evil born of quiet cruelty, of years, of training. She licked my hand in thanks, and that just broke me. That night, I watched her curl up beneath a tree near my porch, still in sight, closer than ever. She was staying. I woke before dawn to a scratching at my door. She was there, on the steps, curled up and shivering. Her breath was ragged, skin burning with fever. Without thinking, I scooped her up. She weighed near nothing, less than a sack of feed. Laid her on the couch, Martha's quilt over her bones, and heated water. As I cleaned her wounds, she started mumbling, just barely. "Bad, sorry, good dog." Lord, she was apologizing for being sick. I sat beside her and whispered, "You're not bad. You're a good girl, a real good girl." She looked at me like she didn't know what the words meant, but wanted to. By midday, the fever dipped. She watched me cook, head tilting like a curious pup. When I cracked an egg, she leaned forward. When I cut bread, her eyes followed the knife. She was learning. Fast. Then came the moment. I brought her soup, left a spoon beside it. She looked at me, then at the spoon, then back at me, waiting, asking. I picked it up, took a bite, showed her. She tried, fumbled, spilled, but she got it. One spoonful. She smiled. It weren't big, but it was real. That smile didn't last. The sound of hooves came sudden, fast and deliberate. I looked out the window, and my blood turned to stone. A man in black was riding up. Tall, lean, eyes sharp as broken glass. He looked like her. The girl heard the hoofbeats too. She bolted upright, pressed against the far wall, making that same awful whimpering noise like punishment was coming. It was. I grabbed my rifle. He knocked 3 times. I stepped out and shut the door behind me. "Morning," he said, like we were neighbors. "I'm looking for my property. Brown-haired. Might have wandered this way." "What kind of property?" I asked. He grinned, but it didn't touch his eyes. "The kind that needs training. Been missing 3 days. Gets confused." I told him plain, "Ain't seen anything belongs to you." He stepped closer. "Funny. Word is you been leaving food near the woods." I didn't blink. Feeding animals ain't illegal. Then he said it like he was proud. "She ain't human no more. I made sure of that. Spent 9 years breaking her down. She don't know words. Don't walk right. Don't think right. She's mine." From inside, we heard her voice, ragged but clear. "No. No, go back." He smiled like a wolf. "Hear that? She remembers." I raised my rifle. "She's not yours," I said. "She's a child." He sneered. "She's my creation." Then he reached for his belt. I fired. The shot echoed through the valley. He staggered, clutching his shoulder, bleeding, but his eyes still burned with hate. "She can't survive out there," he spat. "I made her better, safer, loyal." "She's not a dog," I said. "She's free." The door behind me opened. She stepped out, on 2 legs, wobbly, but standing. "Hurt?" she asked. "He hurt." Jacob growled, "No, bad dog, down." She stepped to my side. "Not dog," she said. "Name is Sarah." He froze. His mouth opened, but nothing came. Then he lunged. I pulled the trigger again. He collapsed. As he lay there, gasping, blood pouring from him, he tried one last time. "Come here, to master." Sarah looked down, quiet, calm. "My name is Sarah. Mama called me Sarah." He blinked, confused, dying and still not understanding. She knelt by him, not afraid. "You sick," she said. "You lonely. You made me scared too. But I not yours." Jacob Morrison died with those words in his ears. I buried him that evening beneath the oak where Martha rests. No prayers, no markers, just a grave and a memory. Sarah watched me from the porch, still wearing that collar, but standing tall. I sat beside her after. She leaned into me, and we listened to the chickens settle, the wind through the wheat, the hush of a valley no longer hunted. I don't know what'll happen when folks come asking questions, but I'll say this. A man's got to live with what he lets happen on his land. And I ain't letting monsters call children property. Some debt's got to be paid in lead.